Welcome to the teaching ministry of Apostle Arthur Bailey. Services are held at 1725 South Division, Grand Rapids, Michigan, 49507 each Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Also, you may join us for Torah study on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Thank you for joining us.
We're going to be talking about the sons of God. Now, I hope you're ready today, because what I'm going to share with you today is going to be some pretty heavy stuff. And I hope you're ready. And I need you to be patient with me, not to rush me, because there's a lot of ground to cover. And I can see this being probably a couple or 3 DVD series. Okay? So please be patient with me today, because I want to cover a lot of ground so that we can help you and myself come into the reality of who we are. In 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7, For a man indeed should not have his head veiled, because he is the image and glory of God, and the woman is the glory of man. Now, what Paul is talking about here is those individuals who are born again. Look at the context, because he's writing to a community of believers. He's not writing to unbelievers. He's writing to believers in 1 Corinthians. And so he's saying, as a believer, you need to understand that when a man prays, a man is not supposed to cover his head, because that man is the image and glory of God. The woman is the glory of man. Does that mean that women are not the glory of God? No, it doesn't. But a man who has a wife, that woman is his glory. A woman who is not married and born again also express the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 15:49. And just as we have borne the image of the man of dust, in other words, when we were born in the image of Adam, the man of dust. We shall also bear the image of the man from heaven. That is the born again process. So in essence, listen to me. We are born dust. We are born dead. We are born in the image of Adam. But when we get born again, we now take on the image of Messiah. Thus, we are being transformed into the image of God. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18. So all of us with faces unveiled see as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, and we are being changed into his very image. We are being what? Changed. We are being changed into his very image from one degree of glory to the next by Adonai the Spirit. How is that happening? How are we being changed? We are getting our minds renewed. Now the problem is that when we resist the word of God, we are not being changed. We're staying the same. But when we accept the glory of God, we accept the word of God, and what happens is that the word of God comes into us and it begins to challenge our way of thinking. If I don't see anything wrong with having sex without being married, the word of God comes along and tells me that's not right. If I don't see anything wrong with having sex with someone other than my wife, and I'm not, and the word of God comes along and says that's adultery. If I don't see anything wrong with taking advantage of the system, and the word of God comes along and tells me that there is a way of doing things, there is an integrity of being a believer in how you handle your business, what does that do? The word comes in and it challenges my way of thinking. If I resist the word and continue on in my way of thinking, I am not being changed. The glory of God is not having an effect on me. But when I accept the word of God, it confronts my way of thinking. I change my mind. That's called repenting. I'm turning from my way of doing things and accepting his way of doing things. And in that process, I just went from one degree of glory to the next. 2 Corinthians 4:4. They do not come to trust because the God of the Olam Hazah, the God of this age, has blinded their minds in order to prevent them from seeing the light shining from the good news about the glory of the Messiah, who is the image of God. Now, the devil cannot use the word against us. But the devil can use religion against us. And therefore, what happens is that when we are confronting issues, if we're not aware of the fact that what we are confronting is religious mindsets, we will get caught up in arguing against religion, and you can't win. It's a never-ending argument. But when you get the word of God on the table and you stand on the word, there is no argument. If you ask anybody, you ask any believer, listen, did Jesus Christ do away with the Old Testament? If they say yes, we got some standing room here. If they say yes, so are you telling me that everything in the Old Testament has been done away with? Is that what you're telling me? Now, no believer in their right mind, no Christian in their right mind is going to say that. So now the question is, well, what do we take and what do we leave? And who determines it? You see? Because the moment they say it is, then let's stop tithing. Okay? Folks want to say, well, Jesus prayed over food and therefore declared all food clean. And I ask them, well, show me where food is defined in the New Testament. So if all food is clean, then we can eat skunks and buzzards. Right? Hello? Well, no, brother. Well, who determines what is food? Are you hearing me? And where is it determined where food is? Not in the New Testament. So we just threw the Old Testament out. So don't go there. Eat the skunk just like you eat the pig. Eat the buzzard just like you eat those hog maws. What happens, saints, is that what religion does, listen to me, religion make us our own God. And therefore we do what we want to do because it's all under the blood. Not true. Colossians 1:15. He is who? Yeshua, the visible image of the invisible God. He is supreme over all creation. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. Because Yeshua is the visible image of the invisible God. Well, what does that make you? If you are a believer in the Father, you have accepted Yeshua. Yeshua lives in you, then you become the visible image of the invisible God. Colossians 3:10. And have put on the new self. Now here's the problem.